What's going on, bro? Hope you're doing all right. Just wanted to make a quick video and talk about the three psychological things and the three mindset shifts that are keeping you unprofitable or stuck in your trading. So without further ado, let's not dilly-dally. Let's just jump right into it. And the first thing that I want to talk about is delusion, okay? This is very important, and I think this is probably one of the most important things is that in your mind, you have self-doubt about your trading, about your goals, about whether or not this is even possible, right? I have people that are like, I was going down the rabbit hole, like, I don't think it's possible to even become profitable. I don't think there's that many people out there that are this and that. See, if you are in that mindset, you're never going to become profitable, right? Because step number one is believing in yourself. With anything you do in life, it doesn't even have to be trading, anything entrepreneurial, being an athlete, just accomplishing anything in life. So you have to be able to program your subconscious mind into believing you already are the type of person that you need to become in order to become that profitable trader or to get you to your goals, right? You need to understand like you are already that person. You're not becoming that person, you are, right? So what I used to do when I was very unprofitable, what I like to do every single day is I would look myself in the mirror or, before I'm going to sleep, or when I wake up in the morning, I'm reiterating to myself, like I am disciplined, I am patient. If there is no setup, I am not going to take a trade. I am patient, I am wealthy, all these things. And I would look at myself in the mirror as I repeat these things, because what is this going to do? Your brain is going to put a picture, which is you, and you're telling yourself like, and envisioning yourself of like who you want to become and what you are already, right? So once you start doing this, you need to start taking action and think about what the profitable version or the best version of you is doing on a daily basis, right? Think about in 5 years from now when you are that profitable trader, when you have that wealth, where you have that home, where you have everything you've ever wanted. What do you do on a daily basis? And start taking action today, right? Not tomorrow, not next week. Stop making excuses. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a great time, okay? The best time to start was yesterday, and the next best time to start is today. So start programming your mind, thinking, I am this person. Tell yourself, I am rich, I am wealthy, I'm disciplined, I am patient. All these qualities. Look at yourself and subconsciously believe it, right? And start taking action. That is the best thing you could do. You have to have no self-doubt because there's going to be so many people. Basically, everyone is going to be doubting you. So you have to be the backbone and never break. You could bend, but don't break, okay? So make sure you keep that in mind. Delusion is one of the biggest things, and you need to have utmost complete, belief in yourself. Now, the second thing I want to get into, second thing that is probably keeping you held back and stuck in your profitable journey is discipline. Now, I know you probably hear this all the time, you got to be disciplined to do this and that. Bro, listen to me, straight up. If your physique, okay, let me retract for a bit, okay? This is for most of you. There are outliers, you got to keep that in mind. But if your physique looks terrible, as in like you don't go to the gym, you're like overweight, you don't eat healthy, right? You're just eating garbage all the time, all that stuff. This is going to come into play for when you're trading, right? Like you have to have discipline on and off the charts. I've always preached this. Some people don't necessarily, agree, but I'm telling you what worked for me. I've been through it all, okay? If you want to be disciplined on the charts, you have to have discipline off the charts. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but listen, you want to make sure you're in decent shape. You're disciplined with the gym. You're consistent. You're going to the gym. When you don't want to do it, you do it anyway. You want to know why? Because that's what discipline is. Doing the things you don't want to do and you do it anyway is disciplined, okay? You know what you need to get done, not what you want to get done, what you need to get done, right? So going to the gym, eating consistently healthy, not putting bad things in your body all the time, just having good self-control over yourself. So now off the charts, you're doing these things. And when you come onto the charts, you're able to follow your rules, right? If you don't have rules in your trading, automatically you're not going to be able to follow and you're not going to be profitable because you don't have anything to follow. When you go to work, if you have a job, you have rules you have to follow. You can't just do whatever the hell you want to do, right? So you have to set rules for yourself. You have to set boundaries. And When I mean this, I mean, set a max amount of trades you could take per day. Set a max daily loss limit. Stick to these things. If you can't, put your risk parameters on your profile or whatever platform you're using, put a sticky note down. Write it right in front of your computer, right here. Put it down on a sticky note. Have a journal right next to you. Have a whiteboard that I have over there. Write it down. Make it visible. When things are visible and you write things down, your brain and your body is more accustomed to follow them, okay? This is, like scientifically true. That's why in school, they always tell you to take notes and write it down, because when you write things down, you're more than likely going to retain that information and comprehend that information. So that is one thing I want to tell you all. If you're not disciplined, you need to start becoming disciplined off the charts for it to translate on the charts, okay? If you're taking as many trades as you want a day, taking these random setups, chasing trades, this and that, I'm sorry to break it to you, bro. You're never going to survive long term. And to be honest with you, the name of the game is, long-term sustainability and profitability, right? You have to start thinking about the long-term, outcomes, right? Not the short-term instant gratification, the long-term outcomes. When you're about to go on tilt and crash out because you lost a trade, think about down the line when you want to go buy a house, right? That's what I'm thinking now is like, do I want to go buy a house? I think I want to go buy a house. Like me crashing out over one losing trade, is that, helping me get there? No. Like I'm going to go blow accounts and reset and go back to an eval, and then, I'm stuck in that with a bad mindset. You're just setting yourself back, okay? So you have to be thinking about the long-term effect, outcome, and what you're putting in, your inputs have to, coordinate and correlate with what you want long-term outcomes to be, okay? So that's what I wanted to talk about for discipline. And lastly, accountability. Accountability is everything, okay, guys? Listen to me real quick when I say this. If you are not holding yourself accountable and you are blaming the markets or blaming external factors for your trading when something goes wrong, I don't know how to help you, because that's just not how it works, okay? Actually, I do know how to help you, but that's just not how life works, okay? You need to start taking responsibility and accountability for every single thing that goes on in your life, the good, the bad, and the in-between, okay? When I say this, I hear people saying, the market was so choppy, like price didn't deliver, but guess what? These are all excuses, and this is the definition of coping. You, yes, you are the one that is sitting in front of the charts. You are the ones that are clicking the buttons. The markets aren't forcing you to take any trades. If you're feeling like emotional, you're feeling like you're impulsive, lock yourself out for a couple of minutes. If you can't do that, go for a walk. Just walk away for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Go get a glass of water. Go speak to another human being, because it'll bring you back to reality and life. Okay? So you need to be holding yourself accountable for every action you do on and off the charts. This also kind of, ties into discipline. If your physique is not where you want it to be, you are accountable for that. You are responsible for that. You're not disciplined enough to be doing the things that you need to do every single day to get the physique you want, so to get the result you want in your trading. You're not doing the things. You need to be journaling as well. I know a lot of people overlook journaling. And to be completely honest with you, I overlooked journaling and never journaled for the first 3.5 to 4 years of my trading. And that is what held me back the most, okay? I needed to journal. You think, oh, I'm going to remember this, I'll just visually remember for next time. I'm telling guys, you're fighting against, the biggest institutions, banks, hedge funds, algorithms in the world. Why do you think that, you could just dilly-dally and not go 100% and then just get all the results you want? That's not how it works. If it was that easy, then everybody would do it. So keep that in mind. But what you need to be doing is journaling, writing down everything, and you need to be writing down your emotions, how you felt before the trade, during the trade, after the trade, right? And then learning from your mistakes. So if you do this again, you have to hold yourself accountable. I should have learned from this mistake. I've seen this before. I know not to do this, right? That's the mindset you have to have. And this ties into everything, like I said, with the discipline, with the accountability and holding yourself accountable. If conditions are ass, do not click the button. Do not take a trade. You are the only person that is forcing you to do it. You need to just remember that anytime you're about to do something dumb, and anytime you want to try and blame somebody or blame something else on somebody else, just remember, if you hold yourself accountable and you take responsibility and accountability for it, that over time, if you continuously start doing these things, you're going to start seeing so much more improvement every aspect of your life, okay? And it will translate to your trading as well. Now, I know this was a lot of yap, but I was just speaking from my heart and kind of telling you guys what I did and changed like when I was stuck in my trading. So I promise you, if you just start trying to incorporate these things every single day, just a little bit, 1% every single day, it's going to get you a lot further than you think. Just trust the process. This is also part of the delusion. You got to just trust the process, stick it out. It is attainable. Everyone's going to have ups and downs in trading too. So never give up. It's not something that's easy. Otherwise, everyone would do it. So that being said, I appreciate you guys for listening to my advice. If you're seeing this, get to work, start doing the things you need to do. The only person that is stopping you is you.